Good evening, Bryce. Thanks very much for your time. Interesting that
Thank you for having me.
Only yesterday I was reading in the social media a conversation between some people who were saying, well, look at what countries like Germany are doing. Yes, you want to be a good citizen in the world. You're signing all these progressive agreements, but countries like Germany are talking about plans to actually build, new coal power stations.
Thank you for having me on the show. Well, Germany has announced that they are also going to phase out nuclear. They also have long-term plans regarding their coal power stations. I think recently they've closed down one of their brown coal mines, their last brown coal mines. They're actually, internationally, they're leading on some fronts in terms of phasing out dirty energy. In this work that we've done, we have looked at a long-term plan for South Africa as a complementary public debate input for our integrated resource plan, which is a document that the government uses to make these long-term decisions around fossil fuels.
Which it has committed to. But just to finish, a point, given the abundance of coal,
yes,
that South Africa continues to have, should we not then be following the example of Germany? In other words, find better and cleaner ways, but use the resource that we continue to have. If, as you have just said, everybody accepts. So even the most progressively minded people in this area accept that where you have an abundance of coal, perhaps you should continue to use it, but of course, in ways that...
So what we have done in our models is we've simulated, well, not simulated, but optimized. The models are a bit smarter than just a simulation, but we take all these parameters around costs, okay, and technical parameters that these technologies provide. So that's coal power stations, that's nuclear, that's gas, and then of course renewables. And what essentially is happening is that in South Africa we have a situation where coal, just to bring the coal to the power stations, is too expensive because of the historical interference in the coal power sector, in the coal supply sector, sorry. Coal prices have been going up and up and up. So about 300% in the last decade. So it's just a matter of cost now that renewables globally are being developed, and the technology is improving in terms of efficiencies, but also in terms of price. So you've got all these countries that are pushing for this technology to be rolled out. So the prices are gradually dropping. So what we see in our analysis is that the prices for renewables just outcompete new coal power stations. And then there's also the question around clean coal, but really we have no concrete, so to speak, analysis or understanding of what that really is. It's very expensive at the moment to sequester carbon from emissions from these power stations anywhere in the world. So, that is a technology that is developing, but we don't see it developing fast enough to meet our international commitments to the climate change.
Now, government is committed to this energy mix, and it is, by all accounts, progressive, but of course, they follow up on the promises and commitments they make is completely another story. But in your analysis, what then needs to happen for everybody to actually not only commit but implement, what in essence is the country's plan, and at least on paper, a progressive one at that?
Well, the results that we are seeing is the only policy essentially that we have to follow for a least cost scenario is just to buy the cheapest electricity, which in this case happens to be renewables in the future, in the next 10 years. There's a big question now. What we are seeing coming through in a lot of the recent analysis is that we need to be focusing on storage to complement these. Globally, as I said before, with renewables, there's a lot of countries that are pushing for renewables, but there's also a lot of countries pushing the technology of storage, mainly in lithium-ion, but there's a variety of different large-scale electricity storage systems, of which we actually have a lot of the minerals in this country to build these type of technologies.
Which ESCOM at the last briefing with public enterprises committed to as well. But again, I mean, the issue will be whether they'll follow through on that. But what I'm saying is everyone seems to be saying all the right things. I mean, storage was specifically mentioned. It was, I think, by the CEO of ESCOM that it's an area that they're looking into. They're committing to renewables, but saying they still continue to face challenges of connecting, connecting people to the grid, but also a whole lot of things that come with embracing, these new forms. What is your analysis telling you about the ability to do what is right and what is ideal here and now?
Our analysis is basically saying that the market needs to open up to, as
what's the key, or who holds the key? Should we leave?
Well, in this case, it'll be government.
Yeah.
Not so much ESCOM, but government. They're the ones that will need to put in place the regulations and the laws that allow for a market to develop around electricity supply.
Is that happening or bound to happen? What is your analysis?
Well, yeah. So the recent announcements by Gordon, the Minister of Enterprises, and Department of Energy and government is that, it looks like the government is looking to unbundling, in a sense, components of ESCOM, and one of those would be the transmissions division, and through them you would allow market players to come to the market, and essentially what we'll have is people buying or bringing in technology or developing it here in South Africa to supply electricity, and that would be through the division of the transmission and distribution division.
That's where we're going to leave it for tonight. Thank you very much for coming through. SA-TIIED Studies co-author Bryce McCall.